On Brilliance Business TV, we have Christi Campbell. Christi is a transformational healer. Stay tuned. Welcome to Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. I am your host, Mark Stephen Pooler. We have a wonderful guest on the show today, Christi Campbell, transformational healer. Stay tuned for that. We are streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. We're also on the E360 TV network, USA Global Radio and Television Network, Business Innovators Radio Network, and we're also streaming on mspnewsglobal.com. So let's bring in our incredible guest, Christi Campbell. Christi, welcome to Brilliance Business TV.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's a joy to be here this afternoon.
I'm looking forward to a conversation with you, Christi, and we will be chatting a little bit at the end around Voices of Women, the brilliant collaboration with Brenda Dempsey that I am involved with as well, with our campaign that launches over this weekend as well. So let's get started with the first question, all about leadership and women in business. What unique challenges have you faced as a female leader, and how have they shaped your leadership style and voice?
You know, that's actually in and of itself a unique question, because I would have to say the roles that I have had throughout my career have really not faced any really unique challenges. I think as long as I've stayed really true to myself. I was 48 years and am still in the medical profession as I'm stepping out into more the transformational healer role. But working in medicine, I always tended to work outside the box. And so I had unique things to offer, unique things to say. And my colleagues were always very supportive of that. So I would have to say, as a human, probably the most unique thing I faced was within myself, and really developing that strong sense of myself, as far as sort of breaking out of a box I was in from childhood. You know, I think we all have those challenges periodically. And if we really listen and grow through them and then face the world and the new opportunities that we have with a true sense of self and a true sense of awareness, it sort of, I think, makes those other challenges sort of fall by the wayside. So I don't, other than my own growth challenges and those things that I needed to, attend to going along in the professional world, I didn't really face any huge obstacles, which is really lovely. So it was all within myself. And I think maybe with a lot of people, the obstacles might be within self. And once you deal with those, then the rest really comes a lot easier.
I agree totally. I think when you heal within and go inwards, the reflection of 3D gets a lot better because you've done the work within. And being aware, you mentioned awareness as well. Being aware is so important, and also accepting everything, because I think sometimes we try and push away the negative side or things that people may perceive as a negative. But when you embrace all of it and allow it and accept everything as it is and be present and aware, I think that's how you heal as well. Dr. Christi, I don't know if you agree with me there. Hopefully you do.
Yes. I mean, honestly, when I am thinking more about that question, it truly, I think you have to have that inner knowing of your own being and have that self-awareness so that you can move through life with true authenticity, right? And true grace. And when you do that, and that is what you're leading with, the path seems to, either people rise up to support you or the path clears to allow you to expand and grow. So yeah, I do think that's really important to have that true inner strength, authenticity and awareness. Yeah, I agree
I
completely.
agree, yes. In your experience, what are some of the misconceptions people often have about women in leadership positions?
Again, a unique question. And that could be kind of broad too, Mark. I think that one of the major misconceptions is the fact that all women leaders are the same, because we're not, and neither are male leaders. I think sometimes this particular question is asked of women and not so much asked of men. But I think, misconceptions probably come into the mix when people are layering their own thought, their own conceptions, if you will, or their own life view, their own experience onto someone, instead of really trying to get to know them and make a true heart-to-heart connection. That can create misconceptions for sure. And that again comes back to, kind of comes back to each person, hopefully being able to lead and grow and move through life with authenticity. So I think that's kind of really wide and across the board. We could start picking things out of the air about what people think about, like maybe she's not strong enough, maybe she's not smart enough, maybe she doesn't have enough experience, maybe she doesn't have this, maybe she doesn't have that. But then again, I don't think that's a fair, level playing field when one doesn't typically assign those to males in leadership. So, I don't know if you want to expand a little bit more on that, but that's kind of my initial,
I agree, and I think as well, you mentioned heart to heart, and coming from the heart is so important, even in the business and leadership world. I think sometimes it can be a little bit too intense and too in the head rather than in the heart. And I think we all need to come more from the heart. I think that's really, really important, Christi. A great point that you made there. How do you envision the future of leadership evolving to better accommodate and amplify the voices of women?
One other comment I'd like to make just about that previous question before we move on. I think that, and this is so apropos to today, is that if when we come together, it's with the, as you said, heart to heart, and I said heart to heart, but if we come together with acceptance and understanding, and we meet at that same table and we listen, we truly listen. So many people don't even know what that means, because people think they're listening, but what they're doing is formulating their response to what's happening instead of truly, truly listening to what the person is saying. And I think if we truly listen and we then understand that, that's going to really honor leadership, in its true form and in any scenario. So I just kind of wanted to throw that in. That kind of
I agree
into my mind.
totally. Listening is so important. I think people are good at speaking, but not so much at listening. And I think it's so much important to have good listening skills. It's a real skill to have. So great point there.
Yeah, much more of a skill than I think people really attend to. So then you asked me about envisioning leadership.
How do you envision the future of leadership evolving to better accommodate and amplify the voices of women?
I think I would have to say I feel like in the landscape of the world now, as we speak, we see that coming more and more to the fore, more and more into play, the rise of feminine energy. I think that's kind of happening globally. I see that. I see the need for more of that nurturing, understanding, listening type of energy, in the world. That doesn't necessarily mean gender, but it does mean the type of energy. And I think that as it is happening right now, that we should pay attention to that. I mean, there are movements, happening globally. Some here, groups of women in the states where I am, those that I know about in other areas of the world, and we're all beginning to sort of recognize that and see that and watch it come into play. So I actually envision that continuing to coalesce and get stronger and rise, all in honestly a healing capacity for the planet as a whole. So not just for women leaders, women entrepreneurs, women roles in leadership and that sort of thing, but I kind of almost see it, Mark, globally, like totally for real healing of the world. It transcends just ourselves, and it becomes it becomes more of a cohesive, global
healing
thing.
of the world, rising and getting stronger all together as one.
Exactly.
What one statement would you say to young women today who want to step into leadership?
Oh my gosh, listen to your heart. Number one, and it kind of goes back to what we first said, tap into your inner wisdom, know yourself, understand what your core values are. Because if you don't know that, you don't have the container that you need, to step into leadership. We all have intuition. Some people don't pay attention to that, but trust that. I mean, if you want to just say trust your gut, I mean, we all get those feelings and those hits, and that's like what our energy is telling us, when something's good, something's bad. Another thing, honestly, that I think is so important is to lead with gratitude. I like to get up every day and come down the stairs and say, oh, thank you. I mean, for a beautiful home, a safe environment, a place to, feel nurtured. And so leading with gratitude is wonderful. Always moving through life, I think, with love and acceptance, and leave off that judgment. Leave off that container of judging other people. So gratitude, love, acceptance, and when you truly know yourself, you'll let your inner wisdom really guide your path.
I agree. And you mentioned intuition a little bit there. Just share a little bit more about intuition, Christi. What is an intuitive nudge? Would you say, is it seeing little signs from the universe or hearing little things, and it's something that resonates with you and really speaks to you? Is that what intuition is to you?
Yes. Kind of a combination of all those, actually. I honestly can remember back when I realized it was a thing. A lot of people don't even realize that, Mark. I mean, people just get up and, they go to work and they go to school, and maybe they get married, maybe they have family, maybe they have kids, go on through life and just live life and don't even really realize there's more to it. And I can actually remember the time when I began to realize, oh, wow, there is synchronicity, if you've ever heard that word before, and those things do happen. And then once you realize that, things begin to happen even more. But as far as really just getting to intuition, that again, I believe, speaks to our own inner knowing, and we're really in touch with that. And when we're in touch, and in the divine flow, if you will, the energetic flow that we're here, on this planet to even, be in, and, jobs to perform. I think when we're really in that, I, for myself, have intuitive nudges inside where my gut just says, this doesn't seem right. Or I get, messages too. Something will just pop into my head, and I know people get them. We are all humans. We're all created the same. People get them, but some people listen and some people don't, right? Some people think, oh, that's nuts. I'm not going to pay attention to that. But it's so powerful when you do tune in and you are getting those messages from the universe and you follow them, and then you see the unfolding of things. Then it just begins to grow and grow, and you feel so much more comfortable, and comfortable is a really, really good word. Comfortable where you are, what you're doing, in the flow, participating in life, and understanding you're not just this human little body on the earth. You're really part of this wonderful integrative interfacing matrix, if you will. And so that's probably way more than you wanted to hear, but
I love it. No, I think it's an interesting topic to talk about, Christi. Now, Christi, I know you're in the Voices of Women collaboration, and our campaign comes up over the weekend. Just share a tiny little bit about your part in the project, if you will.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm so excited about this, and I could really talk about it quite a lot. But it's another one of those synchronistic events where I met someone at a conference about a year ago who said, who got to know me, learned a little bit about me, and said, "Oh, I've got somebody you need to meet, and she's putting together this book. I know she's going to want to talk to you." And so we just connected. She connected us, and I spoke with Brenda Dempsey, who's the publisher, and we just hit it off as if we'd known each other forever. And she invited me to participate in this book about Voices of Women. And the goal, of course, was sort of to write a very short, it's a chapter synopsis of our life and kind of how we came to be, right? And so I found it so joyful. I had so much fun doing it and writing it and exploring that and putting it out to the universe. But I have to back up a little bit from that and tell you kind of how that happened in the first place. And as I've been on my own path of growth and development and understanding the work that I really am truly supposed to be bringing to the world, which is about this transformational healing and our own ability to tap into our inner wisdom, I was sitting, working with my soul coach, if you will, on my porch three years ago or so. And I said to him, I said, this is great. This is magnificent. I understand what I'm supposed to do, but here I am sitting in my home. How am I going to get this out? I know people in my surrounding town. I know a few people, throughout the United States, but how am I going to make this really global, which is where I know it needs to go? Year later, I've got a group of people I'm working with in Estonia. I know people in Germany. I know people all over kind of Europe. And then this opportunity comes up with Brenda and Brilliance book publishing. I write this book with 22 other fabulous women around the whole world. And now all of a sudden, boom, right? It's just out there for anybody to see. But the goal of it, Mark, is what I find so powerful. 22 women have come together to put our lives and our experiences in this book. Hundreds of women, hopefully, are going to read that. And some are going to really resonate with my story. Some are going to resonate with someone else's story. And some are going to resonate with someone else's story, because we are all so unique in this world. And our spirit experiences are unique. And having a voice and being willing to share that voice will be uplifting to the women. That is the goal, is that if we can share where we came from and what we're doing now, somebody else is going to read that and go, well, oh my gosh, that sounds so much like me. I absolutely can do that. So that's what it's about, really, is sort of reaching out, globally, and offering support and platforms for other women. That's, in my mind, truly the bottom line and what I hope to see come out, of this book. Because I came from a really small town, in a western state in the United States, and, not born into any kind of silver spoon thing. So, when you kind of read that and somebody else can see that and go, oh, well, I can do that, so that's kind of my take on that.
The power of collaboration. The power of collaboration is so, so powerful. Now, Christi, people can reach you at ChristiCampbellHealing.com. That's ChristiCampbellHealing.com. Who should reach out to you, Christi?
Okay, I could just say anybody, but it would be really someone who hears my voice, somebody who hears my story, someone who is seeking to be in touch with themselves, somebody who wants to understand what their life journey is, what their life path is, somebody who's in a transformational point and they don't know really where to go or how to maneuver that. Someone who is really looking to, I might have said this already, but tap into their inner wisdom and connect with that. We all have it. It's just learning how to access it that is really powerful. So primarily, that is where I'm at with that. That's my main goal and focus of stepping out with the truly transformational healing work that I'm doing. I also, though, will just say this because I feel like I'm supposed to, that I also work very much with end of life transitions. And so, people that might have family members in those situations that are needing help can certainly also reach out. That's very transformative. It's such a pivotal point in our lives. So knowing how to maneuver that is something I'm very much an expert in as well. So really, we all have these beautiful souls. We're all energetic beings. I'm open, for that connection, and I fully trust, the universe in making the correct connections, as we move forward. So
definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot on that
Excellent.
website that sometimes has to do with my general medical stuff, but you can easily find, the part that has to do truly with this healing as well.
Excellent. I would encourage everyone to go to ChristiCampbellHealing.com. Christi, I thoroughly enjoyed having a conversation with you today. Thank you for being my guest on Brilliance Business TV.
Oh my gosh, Mark, thank you. It was absolutely my pleasure.
The pleasure's been all mine. Thank you everyone for joining us on Brilliance Business TV, conversations with leading experts in business. Until next time, bye for now.